Hi everyone, my name is Rishabh Dave and I'm a student of Function Up School of Technology. I'm pursuing a BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, specialization with Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. Currently, I'm in the second semester of my college and till now I've completed the tech stack such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, problem solving, DSA, React.js library. Currently we are learning React.js library and we are learning the concept of routing in React. So routing clearly means you want to navigate through you want to create a single page application and you want to navigate it through the different pages without refreshing the whole page or without displaying or without changing the whole page again. You just change the content of that portion dynamically. So that's what routing we are learning. So to implement the routing, we have started with a micro project that is add routing in the navigation bar. So today we will see how we can create a navigation bar and we can navigate through all the pages of those navigation bar using routing, which we are learning in the React.js library. So the first question for this micro project we have is we have to create a navigation bar that supports routing. And when someone clicks on any of the available pages of the nav bar, the URL should be changed and it should navigate the user to that specific component of that website without refreshing the whole page and without changing the UI for the whole page. That component should be updated. And simply click on sign in, hello, sign in, and contact, and simply 4 sections should be created. So that's what the requirement for this. So talking about React, you can create a React application in the VS Code using the command as npx I npx create React app. And as you can see, I have added the name as add routing in a navbar. You can give the name which you want. So I have added the name as the requirement. I have already created, so I'm not creating. So you can give the name and close the double quotes. And once you press the enter, the React application will be created. After that, you have to change your directory. So VS Code is in the main directory currently. So you have to change it to the folder which you have created. So we will simply write the command as cd uh, add routing in nav bar. Add routing in navbar. So you have been migrated and you have changed your directory to the add routing to the navigation bar directory. Now you have to simply write the code as npm start, and this command will simply start the application which you have created. So it will be started on the local host. So let's wait how it's going to be created, how it will be visible and rendered. So this was the requirement for our question, that we have to create a nav bar with the 4 pages available to it, and this will be the main URL or the default URL which will be rendered on the local host. So clicking on about section, the URL will be changed and you have been navigated to the about section without refreshing the whole page. This content has only updated dynamically using the routing library, router library through the React, and you have navigated through this portion. Now, when you will click on the contact icon, uh, wait for the error, let me resolve it. So basically, what's the error we have encountered, that once we are clicking on the contact section, we have rendered the code in the app.js, and the contact.jsx is not being the code have been cleared off. So I have again written all the code. So now you can clearly see when I clicking on contact, the URL is changing, sign the URL also changing. We have navigated to the sign in page. Similarly for the about section, URL has changed, and similarly for the home section, the URL has changed. Hello. Just checking where the audio is proper or not. Sorry for the disturbance. So that's what all about we are going to create today. So to create that, you simply have, what you have to do is you have to first import the library of a React router. So for that, you have to write the command as npm I react router DOM. So that will be the command which you have to click in order to download the routing crucial library to implement routing in your web page. And to check whether it has been implemented or not, you can check it in the directories of package.json. So here you can see when you will install that React Router DOM under the package.json folder structure, you can find React Router DOM has been implemented with the version 6.22.3, and that's the current latest version of React Router DOM. Talking about the index.js, what you simply have to do under the index.js, you have to simply, after the installation, you have to navigate to the index.js. This is the folder structure. When you will create a React application, this folder structure will be visible to you, and under the folder structure there will be multiple folders and the files will be available, and under that you have to navigate to the index.js file, and you have to simply import this line, import browser router as router from React Router DOM. So what's browser router? Browser router is a router app implementation on your React application, and it simply what it does, it store all the components available in the routing, and navigates you to and to implement routing in your single page application. This works. So basically, let's understand why routing is important. So in the traditional method, what simply we do, we simply create multiple HTML pages, and whenever a user renders that particular page, that whole website again reloaded, and that makes the user experience very dull or poor, we can say. So for that particular position, or for particular idea, we have implemented a router library from the React Router DOM, which we have added. After that, the browser router is the router implementation which we have implemented. Now talking about this router, which we have app.js file. So to use the router, you simply have to wrap the app component under the router component, which came as browser router as router. So we have imported browser router as router. So we simply want that, we want to use it as a short form as router. So we have used the name as router, and we have wrapped the app component under the router. So now we can add the functionality and add the routing to our web page, and for that you have to simply wrap the app.js under the router component which we have imported. Talking about the app.js, you can simply see here, to create any of the React application, you simply have to, you will get a few lines of code pre-written. You simply have to clear all of that, and you have to write the code snippet as this one, RFC, and press enter. React functional component code snippet, and that React functional component basic snippet will be provided for all the files which will create. This folder, this code snippet should be used, and this will be very helpful to you. Where export default meaning of this React functional component, that from this component you are simply default exporting this component which you have created, and to export multiple component you have to destructure them, and within by using the commas you can export which component you want from that particular section. Talking about the uh, which we have implemented here, we have created a basically a navigation bar, nav bar, which is visible to you. A nav bar has been created, and a few of the sections have been created, and we simply want the whole page should not be refreshed whenever a person click on. So talking about this page is can be treated as a single page application, because whenever you click on any particular section of the page, that page is going to be only that particular component is going to be dynamically updated, rest of the page will remain same. So that's the basic functionality of React Router DOM. Talking about the src folder, you will get you can so this is a good practice to create component folder. Under the component folder, whenever you want to create different components, you simply can use the a component folder. Under the component folder you can create multiple files. So I've created the multiple files as about.js, contact.js, home.js, and navbar.js, and using the React functional component code snippet, the basic code structure have been implemented. So under the nav section, what I've simply does before explaining you about all those routing process, let me explain how I've created the nav bar. To create the navbar, I have exported the React library from React. Then I will later discuss on why we imported link tag from the React router DOM, and then styling from the navbar.module.css. To add styling to your web pages in React, you simply have to use the .module.css property and .module.css file, and we have used that. Uh, so basically, what you have to do, in order to add styling to your web page, you simply have to create another file and give the name of the file which you want to add styling, and in the last you have to simply add .module.css. And to add styling, we have to import that using the name of our requirement. So the basic standard, or the coding standard, says us to import using the style keyword, and from the folder location dot slash. So dot slash simply explains the VS Code that we are in the current folder, and the name of the file after that you can provide. Similarly, export default function from the code snippet we will get, then return. Then a nav bar using the nav tag we have created, nav element. Under that, using the UL tag, we have given the different unordered list have been created to create this nav bar. And after that, under the li tag, we have used the different later on so basically what's clearly you meaning of a link tag. So what link tags does, it link tags create different links to navigate through the different pages of a single page application, which has a two attributes. So so whatever location you want to navigate to, link tag navigates you to that portion, and you can import it from the React router DOM. And after that, you can provide the name of that portion which where you want to navigate. So I've created 4 section as home, about, contact, and signing, and a basic functionality have implemented in all those components which I have created. Similarly, for about.jsx, we have imported the React library from React, and navbar from imported the navbar from which we have created the navbar.jsx. We have imported in this about section. A div has been created given the h2 using the. So in every section we have called the nav bar. So a nav bar will be visible to us in all the 4 pages which we have seen. And for all the section, a heading has been given. So you are now in the about section, and about will be visible to the user. Similarly, for the contact.jsx, home.jsx, and signin.jsx. So for all those, we have imported the React library, then the navbar which we have created from the /navbar folder location. Similarly, we have exported that JSX we have created. So for example, sign in, and under the div we have called the navbar component, and the sign in under the h2 tag. Talking about the app.js, when you want to use the React router DOM, you simply have to import the routes and route from the React router DOM. What routes that does, it is an advanced version of Switch which chooses the path, doesn't go in the traversal order. It simply chooses the best matches through the URL, and this is the requirement of routes. And the routes simply does, it's give you the path wherever you want to locate your and update your dynamically page, and route simply matches the URL. Whenever the URL matches, it simply update that portion of that page dynamically. So now we have imported that from a React Writer DOM, which we have installed in, where we can see in the dependencies, the React Router DOM version 6 point something has been updated. Talking about all the components which have created, home, about, sign in, and contact, we have imported them. So what React restricts us that whichever component you want to use in a particular particular component, you have to import them. And the import works because we have export default that component when we are creating that. So we have imported them with the name of home, about, sign in, and contact, and we have export default function app. Under the div, we have used the wrap all the components which are rendering on our web page under the routes, because I have already told you what routes does. A route simply matches the URL and renders the page. Um, it is an advanced version of Switch which have been implemented in the version 6. So what routes does, it finds the best match of the best match of the location or the path and navigate it to navigate us without the order wise traversal for that location. Um, Under the routes, you have to simply wrap all the routes which you have implemented. So we have implemented all the routes using the path slash. So this will be our default path which will be navigated, and similarly about the about and sign in and contact. So all those routes which we have imported from the React Router DOM, the path have been navigated through the about, sign in and contact, and given the element name as which we want to render on the web page as home, about, sign in and contact, which we have created. So that's all about the React Router DOM. So let's render it once. So with these command lines, you can simply change the directory and add those into your uh, you can simply start the on the you can simply start the np react project which you have created using the npm start commands, and you can navigate it through all the sections without refreshing the whole page. You can simply reload that portion, and that routes will simply match the url and update that portion of your page dynamically. So you can see here the URL is being changing once we are navigating through different pages of this website. Uh, what a route is doing here, route is matching the URL, and whenever it gets matched, that portion of that particular segment is being updated to and rendered to the web browser and being visible to us. So that's all for this video. Thank you.